Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
Auto Detailing Podcast listeners, are you thinking about starting your very own mobile auto detailing business, but don't know where to start? Confused with all the information that you're getting online? I wish I had a resource like this when I first started my business way back when. I've created the Mobile Auto Detailing Academy, a bulletproof way to start up and grow your business and start making money. We leave all the confusion out of it and just give you the facts and what you need to grow and succeed in your very own mobile auto detailing business. Head on over to mobileautodetailingacademy.com. That's mobileautodetailingacademy.com and get started today. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 144 of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Today on the show, we have Jeremy Stevens from Stevens Detailing, but you may know him from Shine Supply product company. So, Steven, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jim.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. I know we both got busy days ahead of us, but it's super exciting to be on with you. So, before we kind of talk about Shine Supply, which I don't know if most people know you from Shine Supply or your detailing company, but why don't you give us a little bit of a background of how you got into detailing in the first place and when you started?
Yeah, Jim, I started in 1996, and I was 18 years old, and I was coming off of about a year working at UPS, and I was just struggling to keep down a job, and just because I wasn't passionate about anything I had been doing for the last couple of years, and knew I always kind of had a knack for, cleaning cars and stuff, so hooked up with a buddy I knew at that time, and he kind of loaned me some money, and got a trailer, and just started going out and pretty much door knocking, because in 96, we had no cell phones, pretty much had a pager, so there wasn't social media. Yeah, there was.
Didn't think about
the internet,
that.
obviously, right? I mean, the internet was obviously around, but definitely wasn't being utilized in any aspect of social media.
That's interesting. I've never really thought about that until this point, because in the mid-'90s, wasn't that when mobile detailing really got popular?
Yeah, I mean, 96, exactly. I mean, it really started in, I think, 89, 90. Those were kind of the crack of it. And especially in my area down in Ventura County, I was the third guy to start up in the entire county. So, yeah, man. And it was just door knocking, walking in, asking people if they wanted their car washed, stopping by a business, made flyers, handing out flyers, leaving my business card, on people's cars. And, I started out doing $12 car washes inside and out.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so I would do a $60 detail. I mean, obviously, I'm 18 years old. I still live in my parents' house. I had no idea what was standard for the industry, because, like I said, there's really no internet, nothing to reference, so you're kind of just going off of
yeah, you don't know what other guys are doing.
What's in your head. Yeah, you're just going off what's in your head. So, but I mean, at 18 years old, in 1996, let's say I do a detail, which a detail then is far from what a detail is now at my detail shop, but you do a detail and then wash a couple cars in the afternoon, go home with $90. At 18 years old, still living with my parents in 96, right. I was happy making $100 a day.
Heck yeah, you're stoked,
right? So,
yeah.
It's classic because I used to share an answering machine with my parents. So if you called my parents' house, they'd say, "Hi, thank you for calling the Stevens house. And if you're calling for Stevens Detailing, leave a message." So it's funny. If you look at my shop now, I have a shadow box of all my shirts from 1996 until now, and they're all shadow boxed. And my first shirt has my parents' phone number on it. It's actually really cool.
That is cool. And it's so how would you you would literally just did you have a normal route of regulars, or how? Like, it's kind of weird. It's not that long ago at all, but I'm kind of thinking, I'm just kind of blown away because I've really never thought about it. Because I've always I didn't start till 2008. And my story's kind of the same as you. I was kind of going to school and not really liking school and kind of just working whatever jobs. And I was 19 and bought a trailer, and all that. But I always had a cell phone. So if someone wanted a detail, they just called my phone and I got it. But, if you didn't have any work for the day, are you just going knocking on I mean, this may be a really stupid question, but, you're just literally going out there knocking on doors? Or
it's a good question. It's a good question because it's something that I really stress on the trainings that I do now. These young kids that come through, when we talk about, getting into the detail business. One thing I did from the get-go is I got up every morning and treated it like a job, like as if I worked for somebody. So I would get up and I would head out, and I wouldn't come home till the end of the day. And that's not because I had something to do. That's because I went out and I created something.
Nice.
And I never sat back and waited for it. I went out and hustled and asked. I would, if I didn't have anything to do, I was going to walk into a hair salon and literally, obviously politely, go up to people that were there and say, hey, what do you need your car cleaned? I'd be happy to do it right now. I'm out in the parking lot, I got my setup, and I'd end up creating something and going home. And it wasn't probably for about 6 months into it that I actually started to develop set days. I remember each Friday I'd go down to an area called Hollywood Beach. It's down by Oxnard. And, man, I had about 8, 9 cars, and I'd line them up every Friday, literally like an assembly line.
Yep.
And that was my Friday. And so I just slowly started to develop set days, and then I always gave myself 2 days a week to schedule like detail appointments that would come up. So I would have like my regular wash route, and then I would leave open days for somebody that, hey, next week I'd like to get a full detail. So then I always had room for that.
The thing I want to pull out of that is something I think that more guys need to hear, and I was kind of excited to hear that you incorporate it into your training, that you treated it like a business. And though you found your passion and your hobby in cleaning cars, you still treated it like a business. And I think, talking to a lot of guys in the industry and a lot of guys that are very profitable in the industry, they all have that same mindset that, yes, this is fun. Yes, we get to work on cool cars. Yes, it's awesome. It's my hobby. It's my passion, whatever. But more than anything, it is a business. And I think too many people don't have that mindset, that they still need to run a business and be profitable so that they're still around in 5 years, and so I love that you said that. And you left in the morning and you didn't come home until night, not because you had a ton of work, but you were out there hustling. I love that.
Exactly. And man, that's almost one thing I'm grateful for, that there wasn't social media and all that back then. I mean, not that it's not such an awesome tool now. I mean, that's probably why I'm on the phone with you, is because of social media.
Right. True.
Because of the growth that Shine Supplies had. But, I developed a lot of character in those days where, you just grinded. And you didn't post up about it at the end of the day, and there was no one to brag about. I mean, I was really going home and just telling my girlfriend about it,
Right.
That's all there was back then. And it really developed character, and it's something I really try to stress now to people is, we gotta still have, you gotta have the character,
yep,
and you gotta have the drive, and you can't get so oversaturated in the social media and the public life that you gotta have your private life developed, and you gotta have the solid character to be the backbone, of your business, to really be well-rounded, in your success.
Couldn't agree more. So you start your business, you're going around from route to route, you're using your parents' answering machine, and then you said after about 6 months you started developing some regulars. So take me along the progression of your business as you really got rocking and rolling.
Okay. Well, with my Thomas guide, my quarters for the payphone, and my pager. You know, I kept going at it. Probably, I think, 2 years into it, a buddy of mine kind of started to see, you know, the success, and we sat down and had lunch one day, and he was in college, and he, you know, was wanting something to do in between, so I brought him on under me as a subcontractor, and I know those, you know, that's the definition of subcontractor is definitely a lot different now, so don't think I'm bringing this up to encourage people to do this, because those laws have been, you know, they've changed a lot, but back then it was kind of easy to sign up, you know, somebody as a subcontractor and kind of fly under the radar as far as not having to actually have them as an employee,
right.
You know, and then pay workman's comp and all that. So I set him up as a subcontractor almost as if I, you know, were leasing him a route. So I handed him part of my route and let him take over it with, you know, obviously the room to grow it, and I was just charging him a fee per day. And he'd come to my house, you know, every morning, load up products, because by this time I had moved out of my parents. I'm 20 at this time, so he'd come by, load up products, give me a certain amount per day, and he was with me, you know, 5-6 years, and that turned into another truck, and so eventually we had 3 trucks on the road, mine, two other subcontractors, and then like running their own route, and then I had an employee with me.
Okay.
So
they were all running under Stevens Detailing.
They were all running under Stevens Detailing, and they had magnets on their truck, and you know, but they were responsible for their own schedule, and you know. And you
were supplying them with all the product and everything that they needed. They were basically like renting out your equipment and supplies, but running their own route under your name.
Under my name, yeah, because I had, you know, just even in the short amount of time of 2 years, I really, in town in Ventura, I started to develop a pretty solid reputation. So, yeah, they were running under that, and we just, I mean, man, we hit it hard for, I mean, probably did that into 2003, right around then, and then just, I think they kind of burned out on it. We parted ways, and no fallout by any means. We just moved on. And 2004, it was just me still with my employees. So we kind of ran like that, and man, it was just booming. I don't know if you remember how the economy solid was. You know, 2004, 5, 6. That's when the housing market, you know, especially out here in Southern California, was going nuts, and people were throwing money at everything. So I had some really solid years, those years mobile detailing. So, but I'm always a forward thinker. You know, I'm always, and I wouldn't say in every area of my life, but definitely, you know, with my business, because I was super passionate about it. And then, you know, obviously by 2004, I had a pretty significant family. You know, I had my 3rd son in 2004 and had been married since 2000. So, had a family, had bought a house in 2004, had bought a new $30,000 Chevy Silverado utility truck that had all decked out as my mobile rig, custom mounted equipment in the back. I mean, it was amazing. And, you know, I was deep into it, but I knew in the back of my head, you know, I can't do this forever, you know, at this pace, you know, and, you know, me and my wife sat down and talked. Long story short, just talking about, you know, developing a new business, and that's when Shine Supply, the idea came about in 2007. And towards 2000, right at the beginning of 2008 is when I, you know, went out, turned Stevens Detailing actually into a corporation, so it's Stevens Detailing Inc., and then I started DBA Shine Supply under that. So I incorporated and started Shine Supply, and I would take, you know, a couple days a week to try to grow Shine Supply, and I'd go out and just trying to introduce people to the line, and I was doing local car shows, and I don't know if you recall, but that's when the market crashed.
Yeah.
Remember 2008?
Yep. I remember because that's when I started my mobile detailing business.
Yeah. So I won't dive into that too deep because it's just, but I'll touch on a couple points from that year because I think it might be encouraging to anybody listening is that, man, I had a hard year that year because I was reinventing myself. I'd been detailing now for 12 years, by 2008, had a solid detail company, could have just settled in and got comfortable, but, I wanted to take the risk, and try to go for something. And you know what? I had a lot of doors slammed on my face. And there was a lot of days, man, I drove home really discouraged. And, because there's a lot of product lines out there. And there was obviously Facebook, but there wasn't any Instagram. And so there wasn't really a lot of avenues to get a lot of exposure with the online. And so it was more just doing local car shows. And so probably for a solid 2 years, there was a lot of days I was wondering what the heck I was doing and why I was taking away time from my detail company to, grow this product line. And, I was working with a chemist and working on some blends and really just feeding my input into what I wanted as a detailer, especially being a mobile detailer, working out in the sun, working in the elements.
Right.
Even though I put up canopies, but, hey, man, how can we do a compound that functions in the sun, when you have heat? How can it cycle? And then remember also, I tend to call it roof, but I know the correct word is rufus, or however you want to pronounce it.
I interviewed them, and I struggled the whole interview trying to roll my tongue like them.
Yeah, so forgive me if I say it the wrong way,
all
everybody. But you got to, in 2008, it's the DAs are still pretty much a porta cable, right?
Yep.
Not even the XP, just 7424. So it's like, yeah,
that was the hot commodity in 2008.
Yeah, so I'm coming off of years and years of using a rotary, and then trying to get out holograms with a big old 10-inch gem orbital. Just and then so you're trying to design this line, and there's all these new things coming out, and you're working with a chemist, and man, it was just all I can say is anybody listening, if you're in a tough spot and you're really trying to put your heart out for something, you gotta stay in there, stay in there and stay with it, and because at the end of the day, even if you fail, man, and you gave it everything you had, you can look yourself in the mirror and be proud.
Well, and I think that's kind of the lesson for any business owner or any entrepreneur is that it sucks to go through those days. Like you said, you're driving home saying, why am I wasting my time doing this? And maybe there's someone out there listening right now that is driving around their mobile detail rig or sitting in their empty shop going, I left a corporate job for this, or what am I doing?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And I guess I would want that person to know that, hey, every day isn't, perfect as a business owner. You have those days that just straight up suck. And there's no like magic pill that you can take to make that day not suck. You just got to try and do whatever you can do to get through that day, because it's not going to last forever.
For sure. And I will say something that was a real key element as I was trying to grow Shine Supply. And anytime you talk to me, I'm always going to bring things back to character. I'm always going to bring things back to that, because it is the foundation of everything that you want to build on. And through my years as a detailer, I always befriended or did my best to befriend the detailers in my area, treat them right. I was very open with just any combo that worked well for me. That's just personally how I did it. I'm not saying that, I know it's a different day and age now, and sometimes you got to kind of, because a lot of people are, wanting to burn you, but still, I think you can take away from that my point is that I tried to treat people right that were in my industry. So when I started Shine Supply, what that did is it gave me a platform with the detailers in my area. As far as soon as I started getting some of these blends, they immediately started buying off me because of how I had already been treating them, for the last 5 or so years. So it's not like, oh man, this guy's a total jerk and now he's trying to come out with a product. And, so I didn't have to do, not that I'm wired to do, smoke and mirrors in it, because I'm not. I'm a very straight shooter, but it was real easy to get it in some of the detailers' hands because they trusted me. Because I had been treating them right, so I didn't have to fluff anything up, and that made it a lot easier. Having the character and having the foundation established.
Yeah,
that I could build upon.
Agreed. And to talk to that point, I think it's an issue in our industry that guys will too quickly burn bridges, and then try and build that bridge back up in the future, or they don't have that long-term mindset of, man, how can I maybe use this guy in the future? How can I maybe partner with this guy in the future? And it's hard because it's a male-dominated industry and with a bunch of egos. And when egos, get in the way, emotions get in the way, words get said that the people probably wouldn't say elsewhere. But I think that, like you said, character, and that's an important point to bring up. And it sounds like it was kind of the foundation of starting the product supply company, is having such a great relationship with the detailers in your area. I love that.
Absolutely.
I like going and supporting other detailers around me too. I'm a little bit south of you, but I love just stopping into other guys' shops and trying to buy product from them, or even if they don't have their own product, just supporting buying product of another company from them. I think it's just good business, like you said, good character, good business.
For sure. I mean, one of my favorite statements is, "We're blessed to be a blessing to others."
Yep.
And I really believe that. So if you're blessed, you should be looking around for who you can be a blessing to, and that's a lot of the driving force behind what my motivation is, man. And it really keeps you from it. Let me say it like this: it's almost been easy to all this growth that I've had with Shine Supply. I mean, a lot of it started off Instagram, and it's almost been easy to steward because I'm not being anybody that I'm not.
Right.
I don't have to change. I don't have to put on a game face and put on some show or post a certain way or say things a certain, because I'm not trying. I'm being who I am. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of guys that have latched onto that freedom because, I think at the end of the day, we all just want to be who we really are. But I think there's so much fear, especially when you come into an industry, to like, well, what if I'm not accepted, or what if I'm only doing minivans, or what? Who cares?
Yep.
Who cares, man? You know what? I've been detailing over 20 years now as a professional, and I could care less what comes into my shop. I'll tell you what, if I have Sally Soccer Mom come in and wants her minivan buffed out, I'm going to give it everything I have.
Heck yeah.
Because I think that's what a true artist does. And I think as a detailer, I believe we're artists. We're just expressing an artistic ability, and we're taking something that is ugly and we're making it look nice. Mm-hmm. And it brings us a lot of satisfaction. Because other than that, straight up, man, you're not gonna do this because it's too much work.
Right.
You know, it's a hard job. So if you don't have that heartbeat for it, you're gonna throw in the towel. But I know a lot of guys out there, man, they really, really dig this. And I just want to really stress that and I do it. I say it in training. Once again, everybody that comes through, it's like, listen, man, be proud of whatever you detail. Be proud of it. Mm-hmm. Don't get under that thumb of, oh man, if I'm not doing exotics, or if I'm not doing certain kind of vehicles, or if I don't have X amount of followers or this, it's like, man, don't get, that's such a false world.
Yeah.
It's not reality. And be proud of who you are. Be proud of what you're doing. And if that is just, clay and wax jobs right now, man, do it with all your heart and give that customer everything you have. And I promise you, it'll be almost impossible to fail.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep.
But it's when you get in this false world and you start living under this pressure as a detailer, and oh man, I should be doing this, and then next thing you know, you're discouraged, man. You're going home discouraged, which wears on your body, and you're waking up and you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I never have anything good to post, and it's just like, get out of that world, and start being proud of what you're doing, whatever it is, because the only reason you're detailing is because you're passionate about it.
Ugh.
And if you're passionate about something, there's no one in the world that can judge that.
I don't even know what to say because I love everything that you're saying because it's so true. All these Facebook posts and all this form garbage most of the time, it really sucks for the guy just breaking into the industry because he automatically thinks that he has to be able to correct paint 100% to be successful. And the truth is that is a great skill to know, to learn, to continue to always hone, but it's not a necessity to start your own detailing business.
Exactly.
That might be kind of a controversial statement, but I agree with that. And I stand behind what you just said that, if you're just breaking in, don't focus on only exotic and high-end cars. You may get there, but just focus on, doing good work and making some money.
I call it the less than 10%ers. I mean, it's less than 10% that their flow is paint correction and exotics. Let's just say paint correction.
Right.
I mean, I don't live in a shabby area by no means. Ventura, California.
Love it up there.
As long as I've been detailing professionally, it's like my flow is so 50-50 with everything still from just a regular complete detail on a daily driver to like something that showed up today that I got a detail as soon as we hang up this phone. Porsche Panamera. I mean, it's just
right.
There's such a different flow, and if I can just reference something, there's a young man that came through my training about a year ago, and he was the prime example of somebody out there loved detailing, still lived at his mom's house, and dad's kind of out of the picture, and he's just trying to do something with himself. I believe he's 21 years old, and he's bringing neighbors' cars over, and he's in there trying to do full corrections on a Saturday, for about $200,
Wow.
because he's willing to sell himself out because he thinks unless you're doing a full paint correction, you're not a real detailer. Because that was his perception that he picked up on off the internet, and he came through training, man, and I just broke down that thinking because it's like you give a customer what they want, and that does not mean. I mean, I can block sand, and I block sanded my 2014 Chevy. I've sanded all the orange peel out of it, and I mean, so that caliber of work. But I don't feel any less of myself if I just do a clay and a hand wax on somebody's car that has swirls in it, because that's what they wanted, and they don't care about swirls. They just want some wax on their car, and that's what they want. I'm fine with still doing that. Now I'm not saying, hey, you know what, that should be your goal, but it's like you set your hourly rate that you need to make, whether you're doing paint correction or whether you're doing a wash and wax, so that you're getting your money regardless of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're bidding, you create your prices according to what you need to make per hour, and you're not relaying that to the customer, obvious, but you know how long a certain job takes you. You know what you need to make per hour to be profitable, and you build your packages according to that. So regardless of what you're doing, you know you're getting compensated for your time. And that's 90% of detailers out there. They don't have a steady flow of paint correction. I mean, it's definitely not the majority of people out there that can afford to have their car completely corrected perfectly.
Right.
I mean, most people out there, they want two things: gloss and protection.
Right.
And so, to reference back to this young man that came through training, he has now got a mobile rig. He developed a business plan. He has packages now. And he's so busy. We spoke last week. He's having to say no to people now.
Wow.
He's absolutely exploded in his area because whether he's doing a one-step polish or whether he's, unloading and settling into a job for an entire day and doing a full paint correction, or even coming back day 2 and going at it again, he is getting compensated for his time, and he's scheduling jobs and taking care of exactly what each particular client's needs are. He's not trying to sell somebody on a paint correction that is going to run their car through a hand wash the next week.
Right.
And he's not losing that business by going, no, I only do paint corrections. And it's like, all right, well, sit around and twiddle your thumbs and wait for your paint corrections to come in, while you pass up 15 clay and waxes.
Right. And you brought up a good point. If you're going to make, it's like whatever you want your hourly wage or your daily wage to be, who cares what you're doing? If you're making
exactly.
I think the same kind of shun gets put on guys that do dealership work or a higher volume of cars. It's like, well, if you're maybe more physically taxing, maybe a little bit more of a pain on some ends, but at the end of the day, if you would have had no work that day or you had to go bust your butt and do 10 cars and make some money, I'll take the 10 car washes any day over nothing.
Exactly. But the flip side is, I got a friend of mine down south that all he does is tie-in, and he won't do any jobs other than coating, and he has done an amazing job at developing that market, and it is working fabulous for him, and that's awesome. So don't think that I'm just preaching this one way, but I'm saying, hey, the 90% of people out there, that's not their reality.
Right.
So if it is your reality, I have ultimate respect, and man, it's like, man, that's awesome, and that takes a lot of work and a lot of thinking and strategy to create that type of business, and I think that's awesome. But
you're just saying don't get caught up in that. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't think that that's the norm, and don't think that is the standard, almost like the carrot dangled in front of you as a detailer that you just can never get it. Right. Because that's a false reality, and it's sucking the life out of a lot of guys out there.
Absolutely. I'm glad we kind of went off on that because I think it needs to be said more. I think it needs to be heard more, and I think a lot of guys listening will take a big, deep breath when they hear that and know that they're on the right track. So, but I want to bring it back to Shine Supply, and how has that we had Cameron Johnson on the show a few weeks back, and he developed his own product line, and he said that's really helped kind of stabilize his income or his revenues when he's down in Texas, and they were going on 3 weeks of rain and snow. First time it's ever happened to him in Texas, and so he said, while his detailing may be lower, his revenue from his product company has really skyrocketed. How has developing a product company for you helped your revenue? Or how has it changed your kind of business from detailing and product?
No, it's obviously helped. We're kind of spoiled in Southern California with perfect weather all the time. We definitely pay for it though, so just don't anybody get any false ideas about Southern California.
Yeah, it is expensive.
But yeah, no, it's totally helped. I'm more just I'm more just, I really don't even think about it, and I know that sounds kind of funny, but the numbers part of it isn't what has been my focus. It's more been developing this product line and just seeing how it's really helped a lot of detailers detail better as far as having packages, being able to have products that are specifically designed, being able to have a line that's not over cluttered with like duplicate things, just to create revenue.
Right.
So I know I'm kind of steering off your answer, but I mean, it's just a short answer. I mean, yeah, it definitely helped my income. But I mean, here at Shine Supply, it's just me, and then it's Jared. Jared kind of heads up Shine Supply. I brought him on 6 months ago to help with the shipping and the phone calls and whatnot. But I mean, other than that, man, I'm still detailing full time.
Okay.
Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So I mean, that's where my heart is. So it's not like, some people have told me like, oh man, that's so cool, you don't even have to detail anymore. And I'm like, how's that cool? Like that's like I'm I'm wired a little weird, and I still, I love the detail, man. And just because maybe the income's there to like, oh, well, I'm just going to kind of check out, it's like, no, absolutely not. It actually makes me want to press in more and stay more engaged with hands-on, so that I don't detach from, what's going on in the industry, like paint types, and I can give somebody, like anybody can call us at any time or send an email and ask us any combo, pad, tool, product from Shine Supply, and I can give it to them on any certain car because I'm still detailing.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me happy is like, I love being able to be effective.
Right.
I love that because it's one thing that always bugged me before I had a product line is like, man, you get so lost in like this, what to buy,
yep,
what combo, what this or that, and it's like, I love being able to have like actual fresh, hands-on information in hand people, but you're like, okay, you're having a trouble finishing down that soft black Porsche, that black one. Okay, switch up to this, change your speed to that, well, boom, finishes down. I love being able to say that and not having to go, well,
yeah,
right. I know exactly.
You still got your finger on the pulse.
Exactly, and just so that everybody knows while I'm on that kind of rant, I mean, if you look at my cart, my detail cart in my shop, all it's on is Shine Supply. And I was committed to, before I sell anything online, I will be using it myself full-time. And if I'm not able to use it myself full-time, I need another product because this one isn't, it's inferior, then I'm not confident in putting it out publicly and trying to take some detailer's hard-earned money and hand them a product that's inferior.
Yeah.
Like, wow. That's not okay to me.
Right.
So everything that I sell, I use Monday through Friday.
Wow.
And it's actually made me a better detailer as far as having to, especially in having to use, I have the flat top compound, the classic cut, and the classic polish. Those are like my staple paint correction items.
Mm-hmm.
And classic cut and classic polish are the ones that I've had for a few years. And it has made me a better detailer because I'm so intimate with those two products now that I know exactly what pad to adjust to, what speed, what tool on any certain car so that I can get the results I want instead of grabbing another product maybe to try to answer my product. I've had to make that product work and don't think I'm saying that it was difficult, because the product doesn't work that good. I've had to get creative and make it work. No, it's that I've gotten so engaged with the product that I know what to adjust, real quick adjustments to get it to respond the way I want it to.
Right.
By just changing pads, speeds, or tools. So, I think the market, and if I can just keep going with that thought, I think it's so flooded with choices because, and I want to say this respectfully, because I never want to disrespect any other product coming out, even if they're doing things in a way I don't agree with. But I think as a whole, I think when people launch products, there's a lot of it fueled by revenue.
Yeah.
And I'm not motivated by revenue. I'm motivated by passion.
Wow. That's refreshing to hear.
And so being motivated by passion, I'm a detailer, man, before I sell products. So I think like a detailer. I mean, it is just in my blood. I mean, I feel like it is. I mean, it is my entire life outside of my family. And I don't even think I would have made it in life if I hadn't have found something that I could engage with. And that said, when I come out with a product, like, it's 100%. I believe in it, and I know exactly why I carry it, exactly why it's on my site.
Wow.
It's just, and so that when somebody buys it, I feel so good about, like, awesome, man, that was a great choice.
Yeah, you're delivering a good product, right? You're actually helping the guy.
Exactly, and that's what makes me feel good, man. At the end of the day, is helping people, because I think that's something you can build that lasts. That's bigger than a product company, man.
Right.
Like, Shine Supply could go away, and you can leave a mark on people that actually will impact their life. And it might sound kind of funny because it's like, well, we're talking about detailing products. Yeah, but it's impacting people with integrity.
Right.
It's impacting people with how things were done back in the 50s, man, when you could go buy something, shake the guy's hand, and it did exactly what they said it was going to do. And there wasn't 10 different options. It was like, you bought the can of oil, or you know what I mean? You bought the can of wax, and you went home and waxed out your 55 Chevy, and it looked bitchin'. You know what I mean? And on the way home, you were inundated with 20 other options. Well, you should get this one, too, and...
and it kind of comes around to the theme that's been building through this whole episode of just character, hustling, and being honest with people. And unfortunately, I'm so glad I'm even happier now that I've had you on the show with the things that you're saying, because my push and my motivation and my vision behind this podcast and this show was to showcase guys like yourself that have the passion, but more than that, the acumen, the business acumen, and the integrity that you have, and that you're trying to penetrate this industry with that. And I believe that if there's enough of us penetrating the industry with thoughts like that, that one day we will not have the ego-driven industry that we have today. And the
I agree 100%.
I don't think that we'll ever be able to rid it 100%, and I don't think that we'll ever get rid of companies that are strictly profit driven, because I think every industry has that. But I think if there's enough of us, doing the right thing, saying the right thing, producing the right things, that we'll be able to spot a snake when we see it.
Absolutely. I like to say it like this, because I know people are listening and thinking, man, this guy, he sound like he doesn't care about making money. No, obviously not. When you run a business, you need to be profitable.
Right.
So I like to put it like this. If you're in business to make money, you're not going to run a successful business. If you're in business to take care of people, you will always make money.
Right.
And I believe that. And I believe success is defined by a lot more than making money.
Right.
And man, if we don't get back to some of those roots, we're headed down a wrong road.
Yep.
Because success is a whole circle of a lot of different things that has to be in an even rotation.
Exactly.
And so when you take care of people, and that's your driving force, man, I'll tell you what, you make money. Because those people, they're going to take care of you.
Right. Yep.
They're going to take care of you.
Because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want to?
Exactly. Exactly. And there's still, believe it or not, in 2015, there's people still out there that will completely grab a hold of that and get behind you. I mean, because sometimes it seems like the overall trend out there is like, well, you can't be honest anymore. You know, you gotta hustle, you know, or people are gonna take advantage of you, or this and that. Well, yeah, you know what? People are gonna take advantage of you. And when you live and run a business the way I do, it is vulnerable.
Right.
It's very vulnerable because there's no front. There's no front. There's no fakeness. It's very vulnerable. And you know what? You're gonna get judged. You're gonna get judged when you're real. But you know what? At the end of the day, you're gonna look around you, and the people that are next to you are gonna be ride or die.
Yep.
I mean, they're gonna be there for you through thick and thin, and you're gonna know who's there for you. And to me, that is a full life, man.
Yep. Yep.
You know.
You're sleeping.
And I hope everybody doesn't. You know, I'm not trying to preach to everybody. But I mean, this is who I am. This is what fuels Shine Supply. This is what has fueled the success of it. And I have no other answer for anyone listening other than, you know, if you want to build a good house, man, lay some good concrete at the bottom of that thing.
Absolutely, man. I think people are going to be hearing this and resonating with it and being like, man, how do I get behind this guy? How do I, you know, like you said, if you're helping people, people are going to want you. And that is something, that is a trend that will never fade, regardless if there's internet, no internet, Facebook, no Facebook, you know, Instagram, no Instagram, Twitter, no Twitter, whatever. People will find you if you have helped them in the past. So if people do want to find you, as we kind of wrap up, if people want to find you or they want to try out some Shine Supply, how do they go about that?
Okay. Well, being that, you know, I'm still detailing full time, and then I have Jared here that's running Shine Supply. We do our absolute best, you know, to be available. One of the best methods for questions, obviously, is email, because considering Shine Supply, not only on a national level now, but we're getting some inquiries even international. I actually have a gentleman coming to visit from the UK on Monday. So, I mean, you know, as much as I'd love to just chat with everybody all day long, because that's my heart, you know, obviously we can't do that. So the best method for questions is an email. Jared's email is jared@shinesupply.com. It's JARED @shinesupply.com. And if you forget that for some reason, the email's on the website, info@shinesupply, and that forwards to both of us. And we're really good about responding. I mean, obviously not within 5 minutes, as some people think you can always do, but you know, at least a day. You know, we will always respond. And you know, we're also available if need be, but please make the email the first option. The shop line is 877-557-5054, and that also, of course, is on the website. All orders are done online, just because being a two-man band over here, you know, it's real hard to get on the phone and take orders and stuff like that. But that said, you know, Jared obviously has put together orders for people on the phone. But just please, you know, the norm, just go on the website. It's super easy shopping. We just put a lot of time in redoing the website. It's real easy to navigate around. I've tried to be real thorough with the descriptions. I know I'm not too polished, but I've tried to just, you know, the descriptions are what they are. And so, anyways, man, we try to be as helpful as we can. Anyone also that's listening, I know it doesn't sound like much, but we don't overinflate the prices to, you know, I'll always try to run gimmicks and discounts and you know, offer free shipping. And man, I'd love to do stuff like that, but it just is not profitable at the end of the day. And our shipping costs are very adequate. I mean, everything we ship out, we're still having to pay out of our own pocket for shipping because we utilize USPS priority mail. Mm-hmm. So we're really efficient with our shipping. I mean, most stuff is, you know, if all goes well, weather condition-wise, I mean, people are getting their stuff, you know, on the East Coast within 3 days, which is awesome. Yeah. So we try to be real efficient with our shipping. I think that's important. And so today I want to offer, you know, first-time customer, the coupon code would be, you know, 10% off your first order. And once again, you know, I know it doesn't seem like much, but it's just, you know, it's what we can do. And that code is the hashtag sign, and then 10, the number 10, and then off shine. So it'd be 10 off shine, all lowercase.
Nice.
And that would get you 10% off your first order. And but once again, you know, we've tried to price things very fair for the market and be super relevant in that aspect. So I know there's probably people that are listening that have bought Shine Supply, and man, what a cool opportunity for me to just tell you all at one time, thank you.
Awesome. Really,
from the bottom of my heart. You know, I'm completely humbled at the success of this product line. I mean, it's just blown my mind, and I'm just super humbled. And man, there's a lot of good guys out there that are buying the product and like selflessly telling all kinds of people about it and putting posts up. And I wish I could go to each one of your house, man, give you a big old hug and, you know, a handshake and just tell you how much I appreciate that. But you know what? I can tell you all right now. I appreciate it and super grateful. And, you know, I hope that, you know, my words, you know, have rang true and been helpful, and I'm stoked to have a shot, an opportunity to be on here, man, share my heart and what's happened with my business.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you taking the time to come on and even offering that offer code. That was hashtag 10 off shine for 10% off with your order. And I know running, and we all know running a smaller operation, there isn't a ton of profit margin. So offering anything at all is awesome. So I appreciate that. And if anyone wants the links to connect with Shine Supply or to buy from Shine Supply, you could just go to shinesupply.com directly, or if you go to autodetailingpodcast.com, just type in Jeremy on the search bar. All the show notes and ways to connect with him will be there as well. Jeremy, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for just all the knowledge that you shared in talking about your journey. I think it's something that we could all strive for, to help as many people as possible, and then we will get the reciprocal help back, like you just talked about, with just people posting about your company just out of the goodness of your heart. It's not, it's because you've helped them out first, and thank you back to you for that. But thanks again for coming on the show.
One last thing,
if
everybody could check us out, the Facebook, Shine Supply Facebook. I'm really trying to grow that. Just try to put it tallied in with my Instagram and, you know, all my detailing, or not, I wouldn't say all of it, the majority of it goes up on there, new products or little things like that. So, you know, check us out on Facebook, and then my Instagram is Shine Supply, obviously, and then Jared, my right-hand man, his is Jared _ Shine Supply. So check us out.
Perfect. And I will also link all that up in the show notes too, so guys can reach you on there too.
Cool, man.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com for full show notes, blog posts, updates, and sign up to our newsletter to receive the latest and greatest all things auto detailing podcast. And don't forget, if you're thinking about starting your own mobile auto detailing business, we've set up an online training course so you can bulletproof your startup at mobileautodetailingacademy.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next episode.